All right, all right. Hope you all are having a grand day. Just want to give you a little bit of worship music. Music to get you in the frame of mind to think about God. It's not that you don't think about Him, but sometimes He just needs His own space when nothing else is important. Until we can get to the point that we give it all to Him all the time. All right. As you see in the title, who can you trust? And over the week, it's been trying. And every once in a while, we get a cross that we just must bear. Sometimes that cross is a situation, sometimes it's somebody. And in this case, for me, it's a somebody. When you try to help people understand and realize that things have to be a certain way for their own benefit, we put ourselves in a peculiar place. And when you're in that place, oftentimes we have to be careful of being selfish, because everything we do has to be about the people we help. You may get some gratitude, you may get some joy out of it. But the reality is, if it's not for the person doing it for, you're pretty much, as far as the scripture says, you can give your body to be burned. And if there's love is not in it, you just have to take the loss. And I know many of us don't want to take a loss for the folly of someone else, much less the folly of our own doing. He says, if you suffer for your own faults, shall you take it patiently? And that was a rhetorical question. He was basically telling you that if you suffer for your own doing, you probably need to be patient in it. In fact, it's almost a guarantee that you need to be patient in it. Because anger and frustration is not going to do anything but make it worse. But anyway, there are some times when people will do things for you, and in all intents and purposes and in all the image, it looks good. It's awesome. But if you're not careful, you'll get caught up in what they're doing and you'll miss the motive. With that, let us pray. Father, we thank you because you are about to unfold another layer of truth for us. And Father, hope that it hits in the way that you intended it to hit and breed in us the desire to changes as opposed to trying to find people to blame. Help us, Father, as we learn to see this message, to focus on ourselves. We have some sins to atone for because of our challenges, Father, and we are glad that you leave forgiveness available. However, Father, help those to understand that you need to formally ask him for forgiveness. We need to ask you for forgiveness and don't expect it to just be arbitrary. because there needs to be some work done. When we make a mistake, Father, help us to understand that there needs to be some work done. Even though works won't get us to heaven, but work will help us to be purified. Work will help us to be sanctified. Work will help us to be better people. And Father, as we go forward with this lesson, touch those who are in the room right now, who have a desire to learn. And let this be a blessing to all who hear. For it is by the authority given to me by your Son that I come with this petition on behalf of myself and the people. And all who agree with this prayer said, amen. Now, we want to go to the scriptures, okay? We want to go to the scriptures, and it's important that we make the Bible a relevant book. Because for all intents and purposes, whatever persuasion you come from, truth is truth. You might not want to hear it from a Muslim. You might not want to hear it from a Christian. You might not want to hear it from somebody who is not part of your particular group. But I'll tell you this, if both of you are standing out in the rain, both of you would get just as wet without an umbrella. I just want to leave that with you. All right. We want to go to Mark chapter 14. And I'll put it up here for you. We'll put it up there for you. All right. All right. We're going to go up to the 12th verse. And it's a pretty good reading, but I know that you will be blessed at the end of it. And it reads us this way. It says, after the 2 days was the feast of Passover and of unleavened bread. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they might take him by craft and put him to death. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar of the people. And being in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, as he sat at meat, there came a woman having an alabaster box of ointment of spikenard, very precious. She brake the box and she poured it on his head. And there are some that had indignation within themselves and said, why was this waste of ointment made? For it might have been sold for more than 300 pence, and it might have been given to the poor. They murmured against her. And Jesus said, let her alone. Why trouble you her? She hath work on me. For you have the poor with you always, and whensoever you will, you may do them good. But me you will not have always. She has done what she could. She has come aforehand to anoint my body to the burying. Verily, 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 I say unto you, whosoever this gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world, this also that she has done shall be spoken of for a memorial of her. Now, how many of you know that there are people around you who claim to love you? Who say you're awesome sauce. Who say you're the bomb diggity. Say you the truth. Say you the best thing since sliced bread. Yet, when something good happens for you, they're the first ones to analyze the cost factor. First one to analyze what work had to be done. The first one to make their assessment of what just happened. As if you weren't important enough to receive whatever you received. As a young man, you know, I didn't get student of the year. I had good grades, but I didn't get student of the month. I was not the one that that got the prizes and awards and all of the other things. And when I was a young man, it was important, but then I realized something. As I look at my life now, with all of the things I have gained, and I look at those people that got those awards, they're not doing so well. Not to say that the valedictorian in my high school did not doing well now, but I'm just saying that there are some times when people get stuff based on the time, not based on anything special. Maybe they had the favor of someone. That's what awards are about. Awards are about favors. You know, someone likes you. Someone thinks what you're doing is awesome. In fact, more awesome than others. So here's this lady. I want y'all to check it out now. I want you to notice where he was eating. He was at Simon the leper. Now, leprosy, last I knew, was unclean. You weren't supposed to hang around the lepers. Yet he's in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper. Now, I want you to pick up on something. This man had leprosy and God healed him of his leprosy. And so, being grateful to Jesus, he allowed him to eat at his house. Now, I don't know if you have ever had a bad situation I don't know if any of you have had a tough situation that you were being labeled by your condition. You were being labeled by your situation. You were being labeled because of some negative. And that's how they know you your whole life, by that. Until they saw something that changed, you will always be that person. And so as they sat down, the woman with the box came, and the Bible says that she broke the box and poured it on his head. Other records say he anointed his feet, but it wasn't. The alabaster box didn't go on his feet. The alabaster box oil went on his head. The tears went on the feet. And I want you to understand that symbolic reference. But here it is. The oil on his head ran down his body. And it smelled really, really good. And the scripture says, and there are some that had indignation within themselves. See, so there are people around you that's not going to ever rejoice when you do something good. I just want you to understand that. They're not going to rejoice when you do something good. They're not going to rejoice when something good happens to you. Okay? Now, because of what she did, when the gospel is being preached, people are going to make reference to her, who was making the ultimate sacrifice of all she owned and giving it to Jesus. And I think somebody should pick up on that. There are some of you who are halfway with God. Y'all are not listening to me. Some of y'all are halfway with God, giving him the leftovers and leavings. I'm hoping somebody's awake now. Because there are times when you think that you're doing so good. There are times when you think you're doing so good and you find out that you're coming up short. You're coming up short. And you know, here's the sad thing. The sad thing is you coming up short not because you don't have it in you. You're coming up short because you won't put the effort in. How much you willing to give? Listen here. How much are you willing to give to have everything you want in life? How much would you be willing to give to get that blessing? that you've been asking God for, praying God for, meditating on, going to bed with, going to work with, ride down the street with, go shopping with, and all you can think is that thing, what would you be willing to give to have that blessing? Well, for this woman, it was all the ointment she had, all of the sweetest smelling ointment she had. Okay? So there's one group of people that can't never be satisfied whenever something happens for you. They can't rejoice with you. Okay? They're never going to be the one to congratulate you. Now, I can say this. Facebook has given people some kudos points because they don't remember your birthday. They don't remember your anniversary. Yeah, they don't remember the event. But if you tell them it happened, they will give you congratulations and kudos and flowers and balloons and send you all kinds of memes and give you fist bumps. They'll give you all that stuff online. And you know what? For real, it's a blessing to get that because they don't owe us anything. So I thank all of you who thought about me on my several birthdays. I've not missed one that I didn't have my full, listen here now, my full membership, my full friends list every year. And I'm thankful for that. Whenever something good happened for me over the last 10 years, my full friendship, listen here, I got some good friends. I don't know about anybody else, but I got some friends. Okay? They make sure that I feel good whenever I accomplish something, and mutual. So I try not to waste the blessing by doing crazy stuff like going out in the street, driving in the street, doing crazy stuff and no. If I have something I need to say on social media, I'm not going to waste the blessing of my friends and let toxin come from Bishop, because I respect my friends and I'm hoping that they also respect me. Now, here's the first group. The first group is those that had indignation, couldn't be satisfied, couldn't be happy when something good happened for Jesus. Now, here comes the second group. Check the second group out. Verse 10, and Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to betray him. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money and sought how he might conveniently betray them. Y'all singing with me. They're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place, the backstabbers. All right. The backstabbers. Now watch this. So we got those who hang out with you and love you to an extent, but can't be satisfied whenever something good happens for you. Then you got them that straight hate you. Okay? They just straight hate you. Now, they're going to come and hang around you and you know, y'all pray because I wasn't saved all the time. Okay? There was times when the bottle got passed around, and we knew that there's somebody there that was never going to pay for an ounce of lead. They were never going to pay for one smidgen of get high. They were never going to be the one to pay for gas, but they were in the crowd. And if somebody ever told them, no, don't give him none, he never pay, he would get mad, get all upset with them because they pointed it out. There was always somebody like that. See? So here's Judas. Judas just straight dislikes him, but he's going to hang out with the crew. Are you listening? So here's the title. The title of the lesson is Who Can You Trust? Okay? Now, watch this. The investigation. So here they are after they went and prepared the meal. He's getting ready for the final supper. And he tells them in verse 12, he says, in verse 12, it says, on the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, where wert thou that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover. Okay. When they killed the Passover, that meant the sacrifice that was supposed to be consumed for the Passover meal. Okay. He sent therefore 2 disciples and said, go ye into the city, and there meet a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him. And wheresoever he goes, say to the good man of the house, the master saith, where is the guest chamber that I might eat Passover with my disciples? In other words, we're gonna follow the man who knows business. Because if he's carrying a pitcher of water, usually a man not carrying pitchers of water, to me, it's usually the woman. But here's a man carrying a pitcher, which indicated business. Okay. He says, wherever he go, because he was a servant, wherever he goes, you follow him. And then you ask the person who lives in the house, do you have a guest chamber? We want to rent it for the meeting. And the disciples went forth and came into the city and found as he had said, and he made ready for the Passover. And in the evening cometh with the 12. And as they did eat, Jesus said, verily I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me shall betray me. One of y'all is a backstabber. And they began to be sorrowful and say unto him one by one, is it I? And another said, is it I? Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I want y'all to think about what just happened. Jesus said, one of y'all gonna dog me, and they gonna ask, who? Is it me? Like, I don't know that I'm gonna do this. See, there's a concept called plausible deniability. Okay. Plausible deniability states that in the absence of evidence that something is real, I can say that I didn't see it. Or in the absence of it being written down or some kind of communication like a recording or a video, you can say, I didn't hear it. So here are these guys asking, is it me? Is it me? Well, you already know how you feel about Jesus. Listen here carefully. You already know how you feel about Jesus. Matter of fact, let me bring this home. Most of you know how you feel about the people you hang around. Okay? Every kind of relationship you ever had, you know how you feel about them. So when they if they get the revelation that you're getting ready to do something for them, and you know you getting ready to do something to them, and you know you getting ready to do something to them, what's the sense of denying it? What's the sense of denying it? Why? So you can try to increase the deception. So here these guys, is it I? Well, you already know if you're going to do it. You don't need no prophecy to tell you you're going to do something dirty, going to do something stupid, going to do something dishonest. You already know. Stop playing with me. And he answered unto them and said, it is one of the 12. Check it out. I'm going to show you. You better watch. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention, y'all? Since y'all really concerned, I'm going to tell you who's going to do it. He that dipped with me in the dish. Now, let me tell you why he made that so important. See, because if any of you have in your younger day, I know sometimes we do it now with our spouse and mates, those of us who still love our spouses and mates. Not to say that you don't, but I'm just putting this out there like that. There are some people that when they get close to their mate, if their mate is doing something and their mate is involved in something, we get close and we want to make some kind of physical contact as a way of demonstrating our affection. I used to get frustrated when on occasion my wife would come and pick something out of my plate, or we're at a restaurant, she's eating something different than me, and she'll take her fork and eat some of my stuff. I used to get upset about it, but then I realized something. Okay, it ain't about the food. It's about her trusting me and trusting me. See, so there's a lot of trust involved, and we'll get involved in that when we talk about relationship. All right. So here's the situation. He said, the same person that dipped with me, that's the one that's going to do me. Okay. So I want y'all to grab onto that now. This is real important. It's important that you recognize that sometimes the one that's going to do you the most damage is the one that's the closest, the one that is doing all the nice stuff, the one that's always praising your name, or the one that's always lifting you up. That might be the one. The Bible already told you that a man's foes shall be there of his own household. Okay. So on the list of foes, okay, there are some people who their brothers and sisters can't stand them. Are you listening to me? And every time they say that they've done something good or something good happens, oh, that nigga, he just faking. And you just right. I said that. See, because we get all tied up and mixed up in words. We grown here. We grown. Okay. And if you listen to this, yeah. Okay. All kinds of negative terms. I can send this algorithm to blazing. Okay. With some of the words. You know what? Personally, I don't care about these weak-minded individuals. I don't care about these people that got to take nitroglycerin every time somebody says something. I could care less about folks who are on Prozac and all that kind of stuff because somebody call them a name. Buck up. Get your stuff together and stop acting like a child. Go get your diaper changed and get you a bottle. Sit down somewhere. Nobody got time for babies anymore. So here we're talking about the man that's going to dip with you. And so the next verse says, the Son of Man indeed goeth as it is written of him. But woe to the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Good work for that man if he had never been born. Now listen here. I want you to get this, because in the world we live in, we're having a few challenges. And without talking about the external issues and without talking about that stuff that's coming from the outside, let's talk about what's going on the inside. Okay? Let's talk about what's going on the inside. As a dark American, I hope y'all listening to me. As a dark American, I love other dark Americans. Okay, I refuse to use the word black because it denotes death. So let's just talk about dark. That's what you are. All right? For the sake of it. Until you get an identity, that's what I'm going to call you. Let's deal with that as a visual reference. It's better to call you dark than call you black, because black implies race. Dark just says, okay, that's what I see. All right? As a dark American, we have several issues. I'm going to point out a couple and then 2-3 of them. Okay. And they're right here in the lesson. Right here in the lesson. Okay. The first one is we can't stand to see each other blessed. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You can't stand when somebody gets a blessing. You can't stand when somebody does business. You can't stand when somebody's getting something that you don't have. And so all of a sudden you want to account for it. If I had the money, I'd do it like this. If I had the money, I'll do it like that. I wouldn't have done it like that. They need to do this. They need to do. Everybody has an assessment. Okay. I remember I lived in Tampa, Florida, and I used to go to the church I used to fellowship at was in the heart of the dark American community. And so I'd walk around the street and I'd see the businesses. And the businesses had hand-painted signs on them. Okay. Of course, they paid somebody to do it. They decided to do it themselves to cut the costs. And we can appreciate that. However, if you want to do business, you know a presentation is important. You know a good presentation is important. So after about 2 or 3 months of complaining about how that looked, I went and touched some people. I said, if you want those businesses to improve, as a matter of fact, there was a guy who was part of the Black business community down there, and they have an organization that helps Black businesses. I said, listen, if you want to improve the businesses, first let's improve their appearance. Okay? And I said, look at all those hand-painted signs. Somebody, that's one way we can help them. By hand painting the sign. The guy said, okay, well, you get us a vendor that'll give us a good price. And I said, I already know 2 of them. And so we gave them a call. And the guys gave them good prices on good size signage. All it was some guy who had a stencil and he put the stencil on, he painted the stencil, zip, 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 boom, nail it on the building. Business went up 20% in the first month. You see? So instead of arguing and complaining and telling people, and don't you hate the buts? I hate the buts. Here's the buts. Oh, that's okay, but they could do better. Oh, that tastes good, but they could add a little more salt. Oh, yeah, that car looked good, but it's too much. It's too much. The rims, too much lights. Tires too big. Glass is too dark. See, and then you get on the person's character. I bet that person sells drugs. See, we do that to each other. Instead of learning how to rejoice when something good happens to somebody. Mind your business. Don't worry about how much it costs. That's not your business. Don't worry about what else could be done. If you're so concerned about these poor people that they're talking about, you could have been given to the poor. How much have you given to the poor? See? Then we got folks who will straight stab you in the back. Okay? Straight stab you in the back. I don't know if I'm lying, I'm flying. All right? So when he gets down here and he talks about instituting, but what it says here, these are the verses that talk about instituting the Lord's Supper. Now, the Lord's Supper is an ordinance that was designated by the church. Okay. Typically, when you care about your people, you don't institute. Are you listening to me? You don't make it an institution. And let me give you an example, positive one and a not so positive one. You're about to send your child to college, or they're going in the military. And at any rate, they're going to a place where they're improving their lives. They're going to the next phase of their lives. And you have a dinner for them. You have a dinner. Maybe you give them some gifts. Maybe you wrap up some dollar bills and some paper and give it to them. Okay. Is that mommy and daddy's supper? Is that the friend's supper? See, some people, listen, you can trivialize something by giving it a name. Okay. You can trivialize it by making it something. See, because once you make it something, then people don't have to see the importance. It don't have to be important. All they got to do is know they did it. Like, for giving an example, Christmas. Everybody thinks Christmas is actually Jesus' birthday, and it's not. Hello, somebody. It's not. It is not Jesus' birthday. But for the sake of trivializing it and making it so that during the Saturnalia, people will come to the church, they said that was Jesus' birthday. And so if you love and respect Jesus, you'll come down doing the nasty with folks and drinking and hedonizing, and you'll come and you'll celebrate with us the birth of this great person who is also known as the Son of God. See? We trivialize things by naming them. Okay? Now watch this. This is what he says. And as they did eat, Jesus took bread, blessed it, and brake it, and said to them, "Take, eat. This is my body." Okay? And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, gave it to them, and they drank all of it. And they all drank of it. And he said unto them, "This is the blood of my New Testament, which is shed for many. Verily I say to you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until that day that I drink it new in the kingdom of God." Now, watch this. Here's the third person you want to be careful of. And when they had sung the hymn and they went out to the Mount of Olives, Jesus said, "All you shall be offended because of night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd and the sheep shall be scattered. But after that I am risen, I will go before you into Galilee." And Peter said unto him, "Although all shall be offended, yet will not I." And Jesus said unto him, "Verily I say unto you that this day, even in this night, before the cock crow twice, you're going to deny me thrice." But he spoke more vehemently, "If I should die with thee, I will not deny thee in any wise." likewise also said they all. Okay. There are some people, y'all are not listening to me. There are some people who, for all intents and purposes, right? Listen to me carefully. For all intents and purposes, ride with you, claim to be ride or die. Claim that they're going to remember you and memorialize you and make you the biggest thing ever. We always say that. We say, you know what? At the end of our prayers, I say it all the time. I say it almost in every prayer. If when you do what you do, I'll be careful. I'll give diligence. I will give my all to ensure that your name gets the praise, the honor, glory, and respect that it is so rightfully entitled to. How many people who said amen to that actually do it? Okay? Y'all are not listening to me. How many people actually do that? Well, let me tell you something. If you got your if you're wearing garments that promote lust, you are not giving God's name the glory. Are you listening? If you still painting your face up, think that the makeup is what makes you more attractive, guess what? And I'm gonna say, and I said this: if you're ugly, makeup just gonna make you uglier. You're just gonna add to the ugly. Listen here, you gotta love what God gave you and accept it, regardless of how it looks, its shape. If you get plastic surgery, guess what? Get plastic surgery, nobody's gonna care. But guess what? Your DNA is still your DNA. And so if you're ugly, and y'all pray with me, if you're ugly and you have kids, you may have ugly kids. Okay. And you got your face redone, but your child still looking like 19 miles of unpaved road. Y'all not listening to me. Some of you, listen here. Some of you ugly women are blessed to have handsome husbands. That's the savior of that child. Some of you guys look like a horror movie, but you got a beautiful wife. So the children get spared. Okay? But don't play with this. Don't play with this. You think that you can fix it? First, that's where you're wrong. Okay? You can't fix it. It got to be what it is. God love it. He let it live. So why don't you let it live? No, because you still trying to win friends and influence people. Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. Y'all not listening to me. People still trying to win friends and influence people, and you want to tell people that I do this for me. Really? So if you do it for you, and this is male and female, if what you do to your body and on your stuff is for you, then where's the mirror? Okay, I know this. When I eat my food, it's on my plate in front of me. Okay, y'all are not listening to me. It's in front of me. That makes it mine. Okay, now when I feed myself from my plate, it don't benefit nobody else. So let's get with some truth. Makeup is so that everybody else will look at you favorably. Having muscles and stuff, and you know good and well, you know it's if it's about health, it's about health, bro. Go ahead, do you. If it's about your occupation, it's about your occupation. Do you? But there's a lot of people, and I know when I was younger, and some of you who are going to hear this know the same thing. You went and wanted to get built because the girls liked it. Stop playing. Okay. Some of you dress the way you dress sometimes because the girls like it. Stop playing. Okay? You ain't telling the truth. Some of you, and you know, you can tell people who know how to wear a suit. There's a way you wear a suit, folks. I'm just here to tell you. Okay? And you ain't got to look like Pimp Daddy Slim wearing a suit. Okay? It's a professional look. But anyway, that's a whole nother sermon. But anyway, when we're talking about those who run with you, those who say that they love you, say that they care about you, say that you're the best thing ever, say that they'll go to Pluto with you, and they'll go to the center of the sun with you. Guess what? The minute you get in trouble, we're gonna see. Listen here, people. I'm here to tell you something. I'm here to tell you something. Okay. Here just recently, I had a friend of mine, because of this whole pandemic thing. He's a barber. He had to basically shop, had to move out of his apartment. And to move out of his apartment, luckily, he had a fairly large vehicle. He had a Suburban. And so he was sleeping in his Suburban. And he started calling around. Okay. And he showed me the list of the people he called. And I know those people were living high on the hog, owned businesses. Okay. Nobody came to his aid. He moved into a nice apartment a few weeks ago. All those cats was over his house. Okay. See, are you seeing what I'm saying? When he was in trouble, nobody was there to help him. He could have got off the streets faster. Okay. What little I done for him, because I, without revealing everything that's going on in my life, I had some situations too. I caught COVID. And so I was out of work for 3 weeks. I was out of work for a month. I was out of work for a month. And I'm just barely catching up. Okay. So we want to get through this, the question of who you can trust. And I'm going to tell you at the end who you can trust. All right. But we want to point out that there are some people who they're going to make big claims. They're going to make big claims and they're going to let you down every single time. Okay. They're going to let you down. And I often say, like I say, I respect my Facebook friends, and okay, we have a good relationship on the web. But if it's going to manifest from media to manifestation, okay, I don't know. I wouldn't get phone calls from them. I wouldn't get. I'm just saying this to y'all, so I'm just putting it out there. There's a lot of folks who don't call people. They don't call people. They don't send cards. They don't, they don't do any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But they want people to send them cards and stuff. And I'm sure that if somebody showed up to your house with a cake, you'll be remembering that for the rest of your life. And knowing that you have done nothing for nobody. I'm just here to say it. We love our family members, but it's time now that we as Dark Americans start facing some truth. And one of those truths is this: we don't treat each other like we should. Point blank, period. All right. So here we are. Here's Peter. He said, listen here. He said, although they all going to be offended, yeah, well, and Jesus said, yeah, oh, yeah, pretty much, yeah. He said, this day, even in this night, before the cock crows twice, you're going to deny me thrice. Okay? Jesus goes into the garden. He said, listen here. Now remember what he just said. He said, this night, even in this night, are you hearing this? See, you can get so caught up that you miss the details. Okay? He said that this day, even in this night, before the cock crows twice, you're going to deny me thrice. All right, now watch this. Watch this. He starts to pray. He says, and they came to Gethsemane, and Jesus said to the disciples, sit here while I pray. And he taketh Peter, James, and John, and began to be sore amazed and to be very heavy. He said to them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful unto death. Tarry here and watch. And he went forward, he went forward a little, fell on the ground and prayed. If it were possible, the hour might pass from him. Okay. Y'all had them kind of prayers? Them kind of prayers that you just, oh man, I'm facing this thing. I don't want to. Wow, I'll let this thing pass. Let something else happen. I don't want to get evicted from my house. I don't want the mortgage to foreclose. I don't want my car repossessed. I don't want my spouse to leave. I don't want this sickness. I want this layoff. Y'all are not listening to me. I don't want this business to close. I don't want to have to leave town. I don't want to go to jail. Y'all not listening to me. Y'all ever had them kind of prayers? This the kind of prayer he said, listen, I'm feeling really bad, really bad. And so he says, Father, all things are possible unto you. Take this cup from me. Nevertheless, not what I want, but what thou wants. So he's accepting it. Now watch this. And he comes and findeth them sleeping and said, Peter, Simon, sleepest thou? Couldst not thou watch 1 hour? So here it is again. The prophecy already started. He already started. Oh, I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be offended. Well, I tell you what, watch here for 1 hour. 1 hour. And before he came out, fool sleeping. Y'all not listening to me. Watch and pray lest you enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak. In other words, yeah, you got all the confession in the world, but when it comes to the discipline, you coming up short. And he went away, and he went away and prayed and spake the same words. And when he returned, he found them asleep again. See? This night he's gonna mess up. He wasn't gonna wait till the next day. He wasn't gonna wait until them folks was coming to talk to him, beating him and all this kind of. He wasn't gonna wait until they say, "Hey, wasn't you with him? Who you with?" He's like, "I ain't with him." See, and these are the kinds of people we need to be careful of. People that talk a good game can't do nothing. Now watch this. When he returned, he found them asleep again. It's the second time. Neither wist they what to answer him. Okay? They didn't know what to say. And he cometh the third time and said, go ahead and sleep. Go on to sleep now. Take your rest. It's enough. The hours come. Behold, the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. He that betrayeth me is at hand. Okay? So, who can you trust? Who can you trust? That's a real good question. Who can you trust? Well, if we go back up here, to verse 4. Let's turn that frown upside down. Okay? It says, and there were some that had indignation within themselves. So what's it, can you trust? Somebody that genuinely cares and loves it when you get a blessing. In fact, they'll try to make opportunities for you to be blessed. And if they know that something they're doing is not going to be a blessing to you, they will bow out gracefully. They'll walk away. They'll go home, or they won't do whatever you are going to do together and say, listen here, I'm not going to be able to live up to that. I'm not going to be able to keep my promise on that. I'm not going to be able to, I don't have the skills, bro. I don't, you know what I'm saying? That's just not me. Be honest. People who are honest, boldly and lovingly honest, those people you can trust. You can also trust people who are not money oriented. If money is their prime directive, if money is their prime focus, you can't trust them. Are you listening? Because if you start making more money than them, they'll try to sabotage your operation. Y'all are not listening to me. You gotta have people who genuinely care about you and don't care about the money. Okay? Are you listening? You also want to be able to trust people that can encourage the people that encourage you. Are you listening? So there's three kinds of people you can trust. Okay? Now let's go down to verse 10. It says, in Judas 12 went to the chief priest to betray him unto them. So here's another person you can trust. You can trust a person that's going to talk good about you, whether you're in their face or whether you're not present. They're going to always give a good report. And guess what? You may have to come bail them out of jail because they said something about you and they didn't like it. Let me tell you how that works. There are folks that don't like gangs. There are folks who don't like mafias and underworld organizations. But let me tell you something. These 4 things they got down pat. Okay. When a person in the mafia, when he becomes a made man, everybody congratulates him. Even the people that don't like him, they congratulate him. And you know what? They make sure that everybody understands that he's a made man. You better not mess with him. They may not like him, but they make sure that his honor is taken care of. Y'all are not listening to me. Gang members, if you are seen in gang territory and you're not part of a gang, if you're not part of that particular gang, guess what? If something happens to you and you happen to make it back home, or you go to or you survive it, let's put it that way, and you survive it, you know what's going to happen next? When the news gets back to your people, it's going to be HTP. Okay? Because I tell you what needs to happen right now. What needs to happen is some people need to get popped upside the head for talking bad about dark Americans. Come from us. Okay? Somebody within talking that noise, no, his behind need to be put down. Somebody need to sit him down. Listen here. You can't listen. The body even got sense enough to take care of those dead cells that not doing no good. Why do you think you got to take a seat once every 8 to 10 hours? Because your body knows what to do with trash. Our community ought to know what to do with trash. Get rid of it. Sorry if it's your son. Sorry if it's your daughter. But there's a place for trash, the landfill. That's where you need to go. And we're not going to send you to jail so we can take care of you, so that the government and all these people who are honest, hardworking people can contribute to your care to keep you caged up like an animal because you don't know how to act. Some people just need to go. I know some folks going to get mad about that, but guess what? Let me show y'all this. This used to be my I give a care crystal. It's gone now. It's dead. I had that thing replaced a long time ago. All right. Because I see how people do. Okay. And of course, we not going to evoke God on that one. That's between me and him. Okay. Within our community, we got two people who talk too much, talk way too much about stuff they don't know nothing about. And the only reason they do it because they hating. Okay. There ought to be a law against hating. Okay. And you know what that punishment for hating should be? Public flogging. Y'all heard me. Public flogging. It might be a little difficult for some of you who don't wear belts, but guess what? Public flogging. If it's found out that you spread a rumor, don't matter, male or female, your behind needs to be caught out there and put on Main Street. Public flogging. Learn you to keep your mouth shut and stop spreading rumors. Y'all are not listening to me, okay? Because this guy was a hater, guess what? Somebody had to die. Somebody died behind it. See? And that's the worst kind, the kind that causes a loss of life. All right? Then we got to weed out. All those who are off code. Y'all listening to me? If you off code, you need to go. Either get on code or you go. Because it's better that if you fight with 10,000 strong soldiers than 500,000 water-on weak jellyback fools who ain't got enough sense to throw a rock at something that's trying to hurt them. Y'all are not listening to me. See, some folk can't take it when it's hard. Some folk can't take it when it's tough. But guess what? We losing too many. Okay? You still got folks believe that they U.S. citizens. Y'all not listening to me. Even though the paperwork tell you something different. And just because they let you participate don't mean you a citizen. Just because you come to my house don't mean you part of my family. Y'all not listening. Okay? So we need some people that's going to be on code. Anybody that's off code, you need to go where you can be on code. Nobody going to mess with you. Okay. Now, I need to say something in case there's some light Americans that are listening to this broadcast. There's something you need to know about our people. Okay. There's something you need to know about dark Americans. And this might come as a surprise to you, but here it is. We could give two flying farts what you doing. Okay? We're not interested in taking your stuff. We're not interested in taking your women. We ain't got them kind of strategies. You know why? Because we don't care. See, when we care about stuff, trust me, the one thing you don't want is you don't want Black people to really start caring about your business. Because if they do, trust me, just like anything else we get involved in. See, but y'all can't leave well enough alone. Okay? Y'all can't leave well enough alone. And listen here, okay? You don't need to do for us just for the sake of you doing for us, because a lot of the stuff you're doing ain't doing, it's not helping us a bit. Okay? Like when you got a bad parent, okay? If you would take yourself out of our community and let us deal with it, we'll improve the life of a bad mother. Trust me on that one. We know how to fix a bad mother, but we have our method. See, your methods don't work for us. But you ain't smart enough to realize that. Your methods are not working for us. Okay? Now, you have trouble when we say we are pro us, but that doesn't mean we anti you. That doesn't mean we don't like. Listen here, most of us can come to the conclusion that white people are not all bad. But guess what happens? It is light Americans that are doing the offenses. And then when we complain about what you're doing, you want to call up, well, what about what you're doing in your house? That's my house. You mind your damn business. See? This is one thing we don't do. We don't worry about what you're doing in your house, but you're so worried about what's going on in ours. Why? Because you're control freaks. Okay? Gosh, I know somebody's going to get mad about this, but it's the absolute truth. People can't have an honest conversation, about nearly everything, okay? This is why they don't want critical race theory. They don't want critical race theory. See, now this is my position right here. Dark Americans, if you want to study critical race theory, you go ahead and study it for your own enrichment. Don't make it a curriculum. Don't make it a curriculum. See, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. What's happening is somebody going to come up to you and they're going to say something contrary, and you're volatile. Okay? Somebody going to say, excuse me. Somebody going to say something to you, and the next thing that's going to happen is an ambulance going to come and a police car going to come. And you're not going to come out on the good end of it. Because why? You don't know how to control your emotions. You're just angry all the damn time. And you just make sure that everybody knows you're angry because you don't know how to keep your mouth shut. Discretion is a lost commodity among us. Okay? Just tell everybody damn business. Tell all your secrets. And then you wonder why your butt gets whooped. See? It is what it is. Okay? Everybody wake up and smell the coffee. You listen, if you want me to accept all of you, then you're going to have to reveal all of you. Okay? It is what it is. Okay? I don't have a problem with any color, any so-called color, because I know colors are fake. They're not real. Okay? White and black, they ain't real. That's the biggest lie, that there is a black person and a white person. Big lie. All right? Now, what I want you to grab onto is this. Okay, are you listening? When you decide that you really want to have a relationship with dark Americans, this is for white people, this is for the light Americans. If you decide you really want to have a relationship with darkness, you're going to have to reckon with the stuff that maybe you didn't do it, but your people did. Okay? You're going to have to reckon with the injustice that's coming from your side. See, because we always have to reckon with the injustice coming from our side. So you don't have to tell us what we need to do to stop hurting each other, but you need to focus on what you're doing and how you're benefiting from the stuff your people done. Okay. And I'm talking about legislation. I'm talking about enforcement. I'm talking about having a social compact drawn up so that everybody can agree. This is how we're going to treat each other. And some things should be outlawed. Point blank, period. Until you're willing to do that, then expect to not be able to go in the hood. Expect for black people not to trust you. Expect black people, I mean dark Americans. Expect for them not to trust you. Expect for you to be scared every time they have the conversation. Expect for you to be upset and nervous every time the dark American woman comes up and she gets angry. You expect to be scared because you don't understand it, and you won't understand it because you don't understand reciprocity. Give us something, we'll give you something. Okay? Y'all not listening to me. But anyway, I just gave you the 4 groups of people you can trust. Okay? People who are honest, who truly love you. People who will give their eye teeth for you. Okay? Who are willing to support your causes. People who have discretion. People who will honor, keep your honor, whether you are present or not present. And people who will sincerely toe the line when it comes to you. And so it doesn't matter if you're in trouble. If you're in trouble, guess what? Guess what? Then they in trouble. Okay? None of this, well, I ain't going down for, no, you going down anyway. Because if it ain't you, and if it ain't him, and you keep on this line, gonna be you. You see? Somebody who will keep your honor despite what's going on with you and despite whatever it is you cause. If you did something wrong, they get you out, and then we deal with you when we get you back home. That's how my parents used to do it. That's how most used to do it. They say you keep it calm, and then when you get home, your butt get tore out. Make sure you come out the house acting right. It's like I saw this video, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. I saw this video of a lady telling her children because they were getting ready to go visit some people. And she stood them up there and she said, listen here, let me tell y'all, this is what we're gonna do. When y'all get over there, don't be talking about you hungry. Don't be touching nothing. Don't be going in nobody's room. You get permission to do whatever you're gonna do. And don't be telling me that you're hungry because we're gonna do this, that, and the other. And I mean for it to be done. I mean, for you to do whatever I tell you to do. You stay out of grown folks' face. You stay where the kids are. You don't be wandering off the street. Don't go outside. Don't even think about going and having no extras, no seconds. See, this is the kind of stuff that dark Americans do. We see white Americans don't. And that's okay because that's your house. Okay? But stay out of ours and everything will be fine. Okay? All right. Let us go. Father, thank you for the day. Thank you for the night. Excuse me. Thank you for all you've done and all you're going to do. Let this do what you have it do, what you have designed it to do. And let the blessing happen as you will, without hindrance and without issue. Let those who see have an open heart and open mind and understand that it's only an observation based on experience, based on what is actually happening. And so let those who are offended by it, let them pray you and get a peace about it. And if they can't get a peace about it, then encourage them to do more study and do more observation so that they can see exactly what's being said. Help us to fix our own issues. Help us to be more diligent about minding our own business. And help us to be the kind of people that others can trust. And when you do that, we'll be grateful and honored. And we'll always make sure that you get credit for every good thing that happens and every bad thing that happens and every accomplishment that we make. For it's by the authority given to me by your Son that I have this audience right now. And I bring this petition on behalf of myself and those who are listening. And all who agree with their hearts said, amen. All right, folks. You all have a good Saturday and be blessed.